thank you, Joe. Thanks for joining us at Coronavirus Business Help. Really appreciate your support here. Really looking forward to giving back in terms of your knowledge around LinkedIn and social media. So thanks so much for joining us.
No problems. Happy to help.
So tell us a little bit about your history in the social platform, how you really got into it, just to give a bit of a context to the people watching before we jump into the nitty-gritty.
Yeah, sure. So I've been in business for just over a decade now. So I've been focusing on LinkedIn for the last pretty much 10 years.
Yep.
So I teach people how to use it effectively, how to set it up. I do coaching, training, consulting, now virtual training as well.
Yeah.
You've got to be agile. I mean, a lot of my work, it can be virtual anyway, but it's a great platform because it's more professionally focused than, say, your Facebooks. Even I was going to say TikTok as well, given we just talked about that. But it's just a different tone. But it doesn't take up as much time as some of the other platforms. You don't get sucked into watching cat videos and people dancing and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Yet. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So with your clients at the moment, what are some things that you're noticing in the marketplace and things that you're telling your clients to help them strategize around using social media or LinkedIn for helping them stay in business and keep a constant good flow of work?
Yeah. Well, I think now more than ever, LinkedIn is super important because it allows you to stay connected to people. It allows you to stay visible and allows you to still create content, publish content, add value so that when things do turn around, then you're there. I mean, some businesses are still obviously continuing on, but if you're in a business that is going a bit quiet, it's a nice way to stay connected and also stay sane because, if you are isolated, this is a way to keep in touch with people in your business world.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Do you notice, I don't know if you've checked any analytics or anything, has there been a spike in the use of LinkedIn since people are working from home, obviously on the computer a bit more at home, or is that something that you're noticing?
I haven't come across that. I mean, that's not something that they release. I haven't seen anything yet. I'm sure LinkedIn as a brand will talk about that, and I'm sure the usage is increasing. But one thing that we have noticed, like I said, we as in some other LinkedIn experts that I tend to hang out with, engagement's down, or it has been down in the last sort of few weeks. So I think people are consuming stuff, and they're probably still in that panic kind of zone at the moment for some people. But if you actually stop and start engaging again, then that's where the real benefit is.
Yeah, I think definitely people are pulling things in close and holding things tightly at the moment, and trying not to explore things that they're not familiar with. They're not willing to take risks or start new relationships or any of that at the moment. It's quite a weird space that we're in right now.
It is, and it's one of those platforms that I think, like I ran a virtual training today. It was meant to be face-to-face, and we adapted. And pretty much the majority of people are scared of posting content online. They're scared of being judged. They don't know what to say. And LinkedIn's just a bit more scarier than some of the other platforms. So it's just really getting comfortable. But it's not a platform you have to be, you don't have to be super professional. I mean, you look at the stuff being shared there now. I mean, it's not the toilet roll kind of images that you're seeing all over Facebook.
Yeah.
And that sort of doom and gloom stuff. It's more business related. How can we adapt? How can we be agile? And who's doing some cool stuff as well? Like, some organizations doing some really innovative stuff to make sure their team are connected and whatever. Yeah.
So why do you think it is a bit scarier, or why do people find it a little bit scarier than the other platforms?
I think because it is a bit more grown up and it is professional and it's very public. And I'm not sure if people understand that. And when I train people, I get them to understand the benefits of that, because when you share something on LinkedIn, your LinkedIn profile is indexed by Google firstly, and generally it's public unless you've shut down your privacy settings. But you wouldn't necessarily do that unless you've got a good reason to. Yeah. So it's very public. People can see it, and the more people that engage with you, the more people are going to be exposed to that potentially. So it's very visible. And I think people are worried a bit. I think it's not so much about what people are going to say to them, because people are generally nice on LinkedIn. It's more about the judgment. Are they good enough? Should they be sharing that? Are they qualified enough? All that sort of stuff that comes with it.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, definitely. So I know a lot of people feel like, I don't want to share who I am because that's my privacy, and all this.
Yeah.
So where I think the opposite, I'm like, I want to share exactly who I am, because if people like that, they're going to come and do business with me. So and if they don't, well, I don't really care. See you later. I don't have to do business with you because you know exactly who I am. And if you don't want to do business with me because of who I am, I don't get to talk to you, and that's great. So it's a great repelling tool as well to people that don't get me, you know. So I think that's the way I look at it. But how about you? And how do you get people feeling okay with putting on some personal information about who they are and stuff like that?
Well, absolutely. You've hit the nail on the head as to what the purpose of putting yourself out there, because it's a filter, because not everybody's for you, and you don't want to work with clients that don't really get you anyway. So that's a good thing. So getting over that is just being yourself, really, and being comfortable with who you are and owning your voice. And so it takes a while, I think, particularly if you're not doing a lot online, to actually step over that kind of line in the sand and put yourself out there. But yeah, just do it. I mean, and that whole, dance if no one's watching kind of thing. And I know you do that really well, Greg. You just put yourself out there, and people are either going to love you or they're going to go, whoa, who is this guy?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. So it's just having the guts to do it.
Yeah.
And giving it a crack.
But do you know what? That's exactly who I am. So if I can't feel comfortable being myself, then that's when I feel insecure. And I don't feel insecure because everyone knows exactly who I am, and the crazy outbursts that I have and the fun that I like to have, and I like to make people laugh and smile and light up their day, pun intended. So yeah, I think that that's a really good thing. So
yeah, and it's easier to create content when you're being you, because you don't have to keep up that facade. You don't have to go and put on a new outfit, or you haven't got a shirt and tie on right now. You're just being you. I'm not dressed up to the nines. I'm just wearing what I've been wearing all day.
Yeah.
Haven't had lipstick on all day by myself in the office. Don't need that on. But it's just being you, being the best version of you. But just giving yourself permission to be you.
Yep. This is the LinkedIn. So run us through a bit of a tour for those that haven't used LinkedIn before, and maybe some things that people should know about on how to really get the most out of it.
Yeah, cool. All right, bit of a tour guide today. All right, so this is the home page. So when you log into LinkedIn, you'll see a home page. Obviously, yours is going to look different to mine, because everything in the home feed is anything you subscribe to. So people you connect to, people and companies that you follow, and that content will come up here depending on the algorithm, that sort of thing. So just like Facebook has an algorithm, so does LinkedIn. So that's something to pay attention to. That's opportunities to engage with people.
Yeah.
Then you've got your profile over here, which you can click on and have a look at your profile. And we'll go that in shortly, but I'll just go through the engagement part first. Any pages that you manage. So if you run a business, it's over here. Now down the side here, you've got recent. So any groups that you're part of or you run. Now groups on LinkedIn are a little bit dead. Hopefully they're going to come back. We'll see. Bit of a time waster. So if you're going to spend time, you're better off spending time in the home feed and in people's profiles, building a relationship with people.
Yeah.
You've got events and then hashtags that you follow, because that sort of helps you find content. Now, so with the dashboard, and just aside, I've got this thing called Create Poll here. That's not part of LinkedIn. It's a extra kind of feature. So just if you don't see that, if you're looking at this, it's not something that's I've got extra.
Yeah.
So when you share a post on LinkedIn, so this one here is Songy. Obviously, she shared a post. She's gone start a post, wrote the update, shared a link, and off you go. You can share images. You can upload video directly to LinkedIn. So native video and native images, which performs pretty well. You can also link out to, say, YouTube or something like that, but links tend not to get as much engagement than native content.
That's on all platforms, isn't it?
Because they want you to stay here. But if you are sharing a video, you want to keep it short. The shorter, the better. So if you've got like a 20-minute interview and you want to share that, you can't. You'd have to host it on YouTube or Vimeo or whatever link, or your website. And then the last one here is documents. So document posts are hot right now. They're getting a lot of visibility, and people are doing some really cool stuff with them. So we'll just take a tour down the home feed. So this one here by Songy, like I said, is a link. So she said a link to a website. It's got an image on that becomes a display. This one's an image, so a native image that Steve's uploaded with a bit of text. Going down here, this is a company page. This is a native video. So you can see it's a video because it's got the little play button, and it's hosted on LinkedIn. So 28 seconds, a really good amount of time. And you can see it's nice and bright and colourful. They're obviously promoting their brand. Text only posts. So there's lots of different types of posts you can share.
Yes.
Now this is here is a document post. Now this is not the best way to use a document post. But it's one way. Like if you've got this sort of document, which is a one-pager, you can put it out there. But if you want to get really clever with document posting, and a document is like a PDF or a PowerPoint. Mm-hmm. I'll show you. I think I've got one open here as an example. So a document post, what you can do is create something like this is a document post. And you can see it is because it's got 28 pages.
Yeah,
so
right.
If you created this as an image, you can have one image, or you can have up to 9 images, and they come up like really, really small and square, and you have to kind of look through them, and they don't kind of connect together. They're a bit clunky. So if you're going to have multiple images, you want to put it into a slide deck, or use a tool like Canva and have multiple images and export it as a PDF. So I would guess he might have done that, although he's a designer, he's probably got the Adobe suite. So with a document post, there's almost, there's a cover, it's like a book, and you can siphon through them. So, so you can see here bright, bold images, not much text, whereas the other one over here was like an A4 document, like a whole thing to read, which is small. So you can go full screen. But if you get clever with your marketing and do something like this,
you can break it down. Well, they could have just got that document they had, and each paragraph that's there, put it into each section, each page using Canva or whatever.
Absolutely. So obviously take a bit of time. Yeah. But it's another way to repurpose your content and make it consumable. So it's got 28 pages. You look through. There's a text to go with it. And he gets a lot of engagement. So this is a guy, he's probably one of my favorite creators at the moment on LinkedIn, because he just does some really cool stuff. Now, one thing he also did, and he did it a while ago, so I haven't found it. So, it'll be hard to find. He did this video. So it's very similar. It was lots of images, and he did a content creation washing machine kind of thing, or a content machine. And this video was playing on loop. So, in the instructions, he told you to press pause anywhere in the video, and you get an idea for some content. So, kind of cool way of using images in video. Yeah.
Cool.
Yes.
That's awesome.
So that's a pretty cool idea. So yeah, I'd recommend looking up Dave Officer. It's from UK. He puts out some great content.
Good. Yeah, it's good to have someone to look up to and see what's being done well on a various platforms. Yeah. And
he's not a LinkedIn expert by any means. He's, like I said, a designer. He's just got a very creative mind, and, now, like I said, he's a designer, and he's obviously able to create this stuff. But if you can use a tool like Canva, which is free, or low cost if you've got the paid version, you can create some awesome stuff without the need of, to have a design bone in your body.
Yep.
Because it gives you a lot of
Canva's a great tool. If you're not using Canva already, just Canva makes it so easy to put together. And the good thing is that when you work with a designer and you need some graphic design done, they will send you a design. You're like, oh, not really. Can you change this? Can you change that? And you send it back, and then they'll change it a little bit like you said and send it back, and it's still not right, and then you have to send it back to them. There's all of this that happens all the time. Any creative process is the same. So
absolutely.
To be able to put it, Canva makes it really easy. You can move it that little bit and center it the way you like it and move that on the angle that you want, So definitely go and give that a go, guys, if you haven't already.
I've just moved over here a slide deck I've got from a presentation I did recently, and just to show what I've done. So I've got a design background, and I use the Adobe suite. This image here, which is like the cover of my presentation, this is an image photo shoot I had done. This is from Canva. So I've brought the image in, brought these elements in, colored it, off we go. But also, not only that, this image here, which is a model of how LinkedIn works, this is created in Canva. So, circles, different elements that you pull together, and then that image I pulled into my PowerPoint slide deck. So, you can create a lot of things from scratch using what they've got there. Yeah, and nice. I'll just explain what this diagram means, if you like, because it kind of would be useful for your audience. I'll just make it bigger.
Sure.
So with LinkedIn, and this is something I talk about in presentations. So I won't go to present. Actually, no, I will go into present for you. Why the heck not?
Go, present.
Let's do it.
Present it.
Because it's nice and big. There we go. Look at that. Cool. I can't see you, but I can see my slides.
Yeah.
Yeah. So with LinkedIn, you've got 3 ways of using LinkedIn. Well, 4 actually, if you consider not using it at all. So you're either a lurker, meaning you're consuming people's content, but you're not doing anything. You're not saying anything. You're not leaving a footprint behind. So it's good if you're researching, but no good for your brand. The other extreme is the promoter. So they're the ones that are in LinkedIn, and they do it across all the platforms. They just post content. So they're constantly just throwing content at the wall, hoping it sticks. And that's, it's good for visibility, but maybe not building relationships.
Yeah.
So the power of LinkedIn is this model. So being influential, not being an influencer so much, but you end up with the result of that is influencing your network. So you share content on LinkedIn, and you do it the right way, format it the right way, but also you engage with other people's content and you reply back to comments on your content, so that you're constantly sharing stuff that drops into the home feed of your connections. So on this diagram, you're at the center here. So if this was you're sharing an update, one of your connections comments, which means that their network, their connections, will see your update potentially, depending on the algorithm. Then if they comment, they're exposing it to their network. So you're reaching them 3 degrees away. And that's pretty powerful with LinkedIn. And, tools like your Facebook page, you just don't get that visibility. So it's quite an important thing to understand. Quite powerful.
Yeah, that's good. So in order for them to then feel that reciprocation, they will then go and comment and like your stuff. Then that will spread to their network, and then it goes on and on and on, compounding. So
yeah, absolutely. So the more of that you do, and you said before, you don't spend a lot of time like sharing content in LinkedIn, because you don't need to. Because I always recommend, if you post something, say you post something once a week, and if you're not doing anything, that still might be a lot for you. But then you spend the rest of the time engaging with other people's content, because that's where that's where the power is in relationship building. So particularly right now, while we're not doing a lot of face-to-face networking, take it online.
Yeah. Cool. Awesome. So that's the feed. There's the different types of posts that we've got. We've got the photos, the videos, the document style, which we can do on a slide format as a PDF. Yeah, that's really cool.
Now see this one here. These are individual images. Yeah. So that's a multiple image post, but you've got no control over how they show up. So, that's where the document post works better. So if this post, for instance, all these images were thrown into a PowerPoint deck or something, or Canva, exported as a PDF, then it becomes like a carousel.
Yeah,
so,
nice.
Yes.
Even if it's that landscape sort of view or portrait view, does it matter?
Not with document, no, because that one I showed you before was square. Yep. The other one was portrait. But I tend to go with landscape. But square works just as well.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, and you can get really clever with them. If you use square images and you put like an image that's half on one image and half on the next image, so they kind of look like, it encourages people to scroll through.
So that encourages them to go and slide across, because they can see a portion of the other image. Yeah. I mean, this one, like I said, it's fully square. But if, say, where the next image is, like that bit
green,
of yellow.
It could be offset. Yeah, people do some really clever stuff with it.
Yeah, cool.
Just takes a bit of fiddling around, but it's pretty cool.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's the home feed. So look there for people to engage with. But depending on how you use LinkedIn, if you haven't used it for a long time, your home feed's going to be a little bit, a bit mixed up. It's LinkedIn shows you content from people that it thinks you want to engage with.
Yep.
So the more you engage with people, the more you're likely to see their stuff. But also, if you've got people in your home feed from 10 years ago from a different industry, and you don't necessarily want to disconnect from them, but you're just not interested in their content anymore because it doesn't match where you're going, you just unfollow them.
Yep.
So for instance, this girl here, I'm not going to unfollow her because she's awesome. But if you click the 3 dots here, and you've got the option to unfollow, which means you're still connected, but I'm not essentially subscribed to her updates. And if I want to remove her completely, I'd have to go to her profile to do it, or into my network of connections, which is up here.
Yeah. Okay.
Up top. So that's one way of cleaning up your home feed. So if you're like if now your business is fairly quiet and you're in, sort of looking for something to do, you might look at your profile and tidy up your home feed. Just go through your network. Who should you be connected to? Who shouldn't you be? Unfollow people.
Yep.
So that's one way. You also then might want to look at your profile and make sure that, is your profile matching your brand, who you actually are in business? Because if it hasn't been updated for 10 years, then it might be letting you down.
Yep.
So I'll just go here. So you go to me and go to view profile. You can also go to the top corner as well. They both go to the same place.
Yep.
And open up your profile and then go through and just give it a bit of an update. So you've got, so the way, the sort of layout of it, you've got this intro card at the top that's got your photo, your name, your headline, your background image, location, all that sort of stuff. Sorry, the internet's a little bit slow, so it might be a bit laggy here.
That's all right.
There we go. So you want to have a photo that looks like you, that doesn't look, look like you from 10 years ago, like I said, and keep it fairly professional. Like, you don't have to be like Greg. I wouldn't necessarily think you'd be putting a photo up there where you're in a suit and tie and,
No. Well, I did. I actually
unless
did.
You do.
I did when I had my 10-year one that when we caught up last, and you showed me that you can't have a suit because you never wear a suit. I was like, I don't ever wear a suit. You're right. Let's take that down.
But if you show up for client meetings in a suit, then that's okay. It's more, if you think about how do you show up for that first meeting, that's who you want to be on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
You don't want to be like, if you were out on the tools and you're in your gear and your work gear, then you wouldn't necessarily dress like that for your photo either. But you can get clever. So particularly if, being running an electrical business, like electricians could have a hard hat on, be holding I was going to say a spanner, but you wouldn't be using a spanner, would you?
Pliers, screwdriver.
Yeah,
drill.
something like that says, something that says
roll
that
of cable.
you work. Oh yeah, totally, yeah. So you could get away with that because it's on brand. But as long as it's created that way and it's not like a scruffy kind of photo where you're covered in dust and whatever else.
Yeah.
So that's your photo. Now you've got this image at the top here, background image. Now a lot of people leave the default image there, which is kind of like you've bought a picture frame and you've left the default photo in. You want to put something there that says something about your brand, something about your business, something about your location. So if you are, obviously with what you do, Greg, you could put in there, I think you've got a photo. Actually, we should bring yours up, shouldn't we? That's what we should do. Let's do it. Are you up for that?
Yeah, do it.
There we go. So if you're running a business and you've got a team, you can have a photo with your team in it, photo of, I think you've got the vehicles. Last time I looked. There we go. We're getting there. Oh yeah, you've got the vehicle.
I'll wait for you now. No.
Yeah, totally. So you could do that, because if you have the same photo you've got here, it wouldn't make sense, because you're just duplicating. So something that says something about your brand.
Yeah.
It could be like if you work in Perth, for instance, you could have a photo of Perth skyline. If you're in Sydney, you could have the Harbour Bridge. A little bit cheesy maybe. Yeah. But it says straight away location.
Where you are. Yep.
But if you want to add a bit of personality, like you could have a photo of you, Greg. I'm just thinking, the Toyota adverts where you're doing, oh, what a feeling, and someone's jumping in the air.
Yeah, next to the van.
I can see you.
Yeah.
Something like that, or next to your banner. Yeah, something. Yeah, that's a bit more fun, because if you can add that personality and that energy. So your profile photo is you looking a bit more professional, but not in a suit. But then your background image says something else. Yeah. It could also be something a bit more personal. So if you're into, I don't know, surfing, snowboarding, skydiving, it could be a photo of you doing that. Once again, that gives you a bit more personality as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Cool.
But as long as you've got something there, it's interesting. Yeah. So I'll talk through your profile while we're talking profiles, because it doesn't really matter which profile we use. Now, the most important piece of text on your profile is this here under your name. So for anybody watching, you want to make sure that you've got a positioning statement here, I like to call it, something that says what you do, the value you bring. And I'm just going to drag this over rather than going into slide view. But this is my framework for headlines. One of them, I've got quite a few, but this is one I tend to use for businesses. Yep. So if you think about, I'm calling it keyword focused expertise. So what is it you do? And thinking keywords, what you want to be found for, what your ideal clients are using, the outcome you provide, maybe your business name or the name of a product or service, and then how you deliver your services. So in my example, I've got LinkedIn training and social marketing strategy. That's the keyword focus expertise. That's what I do. Outcomes to future-proof your brand. Business name I'm not using. I use Connectfluence, which is the name of my upcoming book and my program. And then keynote conference speaker is what I do. Now that was about a couple of weeks ago now. I think I've changed it in light of where we're at now, because if I'm just looking to do keynote speaking, well, that's pretty much dead at the moment.
Online keynote speaking, yeah.
Yeah, you've got to have virtual. So you've got to think, well, what word are people using? Virtual, online classroom, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But I also do coaching, so I've got that in my current headlines. It's just getting clear.
Sure.
Now, here's another example. Now this one's made up, but if sustainability for leaders, keyword focused expertise. Create cultural change, that's the outcome.
Yep.
And then business name. Now, in this case, XYZ Consulting, not a good choice unless it's a big company and you're building brand awareness. But if you're a one-man band or you're a couple of people, then having XYZ Consulting, there's no context, there's no keywords, it's not going to help you.
Yep.
So you'd be better off saying, how do you work? What do you do? You want to think about what you're looking for.
Yep.
So I'll just write that off. But there you go. There's the tip for today, and so you want to get that right, because that follows you everywhere.
That's like your meta tag on your SEO, right? So that's going to be that's all of the key points under your name, of who you are. So
yep. Because if you're in the home feed, so if I go back to the home, you're going to see other people's name, photo, and headline with their content. And if someone comments on someone else's stuff, that's what you've got to judge them on. So if your headline says something like business owner, director, partner, proprietor, all those sorts of general terms, it's not helping you. It's not going to help you in business at all. Like here, so Donna here, you can see partner and manager at Amazon Web Services, CEO at Shout Out. And you can see it cuts off. See, the last bit you don't see here. Yeah. You've got to go to see. Marie's liked this. Now, if I hover over Marie, I get to see her profile. And once again, it's like a business card. You get to see the name, headline, photo.
Who they are. Yep. Sure.
So if your headline's boring and bland, you're missing out. So straight away, I know what Marie does. She's in cybersecurity, forensics, blah, blah, blah. So, piece of homework, review your footprint. Make sure you've got a photo that's, up to date, professional-ish, right look and feel, and get the headline right.
Update your headline. Cool.
Yeah.
No, good tips.
Yes. All right, let's just go back over to a profile. You've also got then the about section, which is kind of your intro to who you are. Make sure you've filled it out somewhat. When we get there, it sits here under your name. And rather than talking about how awesome you are, start with the problem you solve, because it's about your audience. It's about knowing who you want to target. So right now, as you're building your brand, as things are quiet, good time to work on your profile, but keep it relevant. So what problem are you solving? Is there something that you're doing? Now, you can see I've adapted mine to meet where we are, because I've said, in a time of social distancing, LinkedIn can help you stay connected and make impact. So that's up to date, because social distancing is very new, as in it's very current.
Yeah.
We went social distancing 6 months ago.
Yeah.
We were hanging out socially, so... Yeah.
Where are you reading that? I'm trying to...
right at the top of the screen here, where it's got... Yeah, so this is the bit you see.
Yes.
And you'll see here, you only see the first 3 lines anyway, up front. And you don't know who clicks here, because LinkedIn doesn't give you any analytics about it. You don't get feedback.
Okay.
So if you were to click see more, here's the rest of it now, all the long story that you may or may not read. But if you go to write... You've got 2,000 characters. You may as well use it, but make it scannable, because people are time poor. They're going to scan through this stuff. Now, this is not here for people to read. I'm not expecting everybody to read all this stuff, but it's got keywords in too, which is indexed.
Yeah.
So you want to have all the right phrases in there. I've got my booking link, so people book chats with me directly from my LinkedIn profile, which is useful for lead generation. So Calendly is a great tool, and I know you use that too, Greg. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, very cool.
Gets you some conversations. I think you can hook up on Zoom or Skype and have that chat that you can't have in person at the moment. Yeah. And then a bit of a framework about how you help people why you? Why do you do what you do? You know, like Greg, you know, on your profile, I'd want to know why are you helping other electricians? You know, that's one of your businesses. Well, that's you know, you're actually helping build a competitive market. So I want to know why you're doing it. And like, I'm obviously we've had chats and I know why you're doing it, but you want to make sure that's in your profile.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, because I think if you've got that mindset of abundance and helping other people, and it actually raises your industry, then that says a lot about you. So make sure, you know, all that kind of stuff's in your own profiles. Yeah, and then and then you got to toot your own horn. Why you? So here's I've got under recognition. What's all the things you've achieved? You know, have you won some awards? Have you published a book? Have you made a list? Chuck it in there, and then end with a call to action. So tell people what to actually do, how to get in touch. Because while we're on LinkedIn, not everybody uses LinkedIn heavily, and not everybody loves LinkedIn messages. I mean, I don't. I prefer you email me.
Yeah.
It just there's no way to manage them, and they don't integrate with anything because LinkedIn's a bit of an island. It doesn't integrate with any other platforms in terms of the back end stuff because they're really protective of data. So so send people off to email.
Cool.
Yes. Now, in terms of using LinkedIn, when you start engaging on LinkedIn, like we talked about the home feed, you can share content, you can engage with other people. All that stuff shows up in your profile. So keep in mind, oh, wow, I've hit 15,000 followers. I was like 14,000 a couple of days ago, something. Woo! So it just keeps going up. Yeah. I don't sort of follow it that closely, but you just go, oh, yeah, cool. Yeah. So people can follow you who are not connected, and people can unfollow you who are connected.
Yeah.
So by following, they're subscribed to your stuff. But every time you touch something on LinkedIn, whether you like, comment, or post your content, it shows up here. So keep in mind when you're going to comment on something that's like politically incorrect or you want to disagree with something, it's going to show up on your footprint, you know, so which first impressions count. But then on the positive, when you touch someone's content, it's showing up, so it's a good thing. So you can kind of ride on other people's content in a sense. Now I was going to say something and
so people can so just by you engaging in good content. So it works in the reverse as well. So if you're putting out good content and you're not feeling too scared about that and you want to put out some good content, other people share it and then it shows up on their feed that this is what other people have looked at. So it's a good way to get that flow through.
Oh, and I've remembered what I was going to say. So this area is really useful if you're looking to build a relationship with people. So you've got some ideal clients, you've got a bit of a hit list as to who you want to connect to and build a relationship with. If you go to their profile and you look for this section, firstly, it tells you they're active on LinkedIn, which is awesome because it means if you now engage with their conversation, you're going to be seen by them and their network. And if you click into the see all activity, you can see everything and you can pick and choose then where you engage. So it gives you some social intelligence about that person, you know, who they are, what do they care about, what's their expertise, are they really salesy, are they actually genuine, you know, are they sharing content that's helpful? Mm-hmm. And you've got all activity, which is everything. So anytime they engage with other people's stuff, like I've just liked this one, so it shows up there. Articles are like blogs. Posts are content they've shared, and posts can be images or video. So you get a bit of an insight. So I shared this update this morning. I shared one about co-working because I'm suddenly co-working with my husband. Now that's interesting. So I thought that's the kind of conversations we want to be having rather than just, there's lots of tips about how to remote work. You know, that's been done. So I just figured, how can we start a conversation about, well, what's the benefits of being at home with someone right now who's working?
Yeah.
Yeah, I still would like a soundproof booth so I can lock myself away, but you know.
Yeah, your own little space.
Yeah. Now, documents. I mentioned document post before. So this one here is a document post, and you can see that because it's got 9 pages. You've got the arrow. And that's a slide deck. It's pretty much the slide deck I just showed you. So there you go.
Yep.
So PowerPoint, up you go, and I've shared an update about it. But if I go to documents, now they're all in their own kind of feed within your profile. Mm-hmm. So you can... So they've got a lot of visibility. I'm not sure why LinkedIn don't have video separate and images separate, but documents they like to showcase. So you can have a look at other people's stuff if they're using it, or your own.
Yep.
Cool. Now you'll see here, like I said, I mentioned followers. I've got 15,000 followers. The others, some of the stats you want to look at on your profile to see how effective you're being. So as you're building your profile, as you're spending time posting content and engaging, you want to look at, obviously, is your network growing? Are you getting connection requests, which I said up the top, up here? Are you getting messages? So I've got 27 new ones that we need to look at. Notifications, are people interacting with your stuff? Or are there opportunities to engage with other people? That shows up here.
Yep.
Are people looking at your profile? So that shows up on this dashboard here. So you can see, now, if you've got premium, and I usually get asked this question, see this little gold thing here? That just shows I'm a premium member.
Yep.
I've got access to the last 3 months of data. So I can look back and see who's looked at me and who's looked at me again and stuff like that.
Oh, that's good.
It's useful, but it's not worth paying the fee that you pay for unless you're going to do something with the data. Otherwise it's just stroking your ego.
Yeah. To be able to go back, like the way I see that as a benefit is if you're doing it fortnightly or something like that, to be able to look back at data. Sometimes you might not be able to get to the data 1 week, so you need to be able to look to at least a month ago. That's where it would be handy to be able to look back and see.
Just look. Yeah, so if you click on it, I'll show you mine. I mean, everybody gets access to the graph, which shows you the 3-month little graph here. So there you'll see the dip. So down here, massive dip, because that's Christmas, New Year, and people were actually not using it so much this year. And I wasn't online as much. So massive dip, then it spikes, and now you can't map this to actual content. But if you look at your actual content, it's a bit of a manual process. But here, why was it up 100% here? And if I look on that around that day, what did I share or what did I engage with that could have triggered that?
Yeah.
And that's where you can kind of look at, well, maybe that content worked well, or maybe 10 people's cats sat on their keyboard and they accidentally hit my profile.
Yeah. Yeah.
You just don't know. But you're looking for patterns. So you can see here, it's declining. And you asked me when we started about trends on LinkedIn right now. And this is pretty common across the board. All the LinkedIn experts I know, we had a meeting yesterday or the day before. I run a group of LinkedIn experts around the world, so we all kind of troubleshoot and share information, and we all have noticed the same thing. The actual engagement's gone down and the visibility's going down. But I think it's just where we're at. I think it'll pick up again as people start paying more attention to LinkedIn. So people are consuming information and panicking, but not necessarily engaging with the power. So it'll be interesting to see where this goes next.
Yeah.
So I like to because after 3 months you can't see your graph again. So I take lots of screenshots. I'll screen capture that, chuck it away, just to look for patterns. And I'm thinking, Greg, you're a patterns person, are you? You're an analytical guy.
Yeah, that's me.
Yeah, that's the thing that turns you on, I can tell. So grab that stuff and then look back and because you're looking for trends and whatever.
Yeah.
Now there are tools that you can use that help you with this stuff, but not with your profile. Your profile is very limited in terms of what you can see. So, but what you can see is who's looked at your profile, the actual people. So obviously this is the back end of my profile, and I can just scroll down and down for the entire 3 months and see who's there. But if you've got the free account, you can just see the last 5.
Yeah.
But once again, I mean, what am I doing with this info? But I can look at it and this lady here, I can see she's a third degree connection. So we have got 2 people in that chain. So if you think about that diagram I shared, she's 2 people away from me. So I might be thinking, well, why did she look at my profile? Maybe she was she saw some content that someone else had commented on, Maybe she watched a video I was doing. Who knows?
She saw a graph. She's a statistician.
Totally. So she's like, who is this person? Now, where's this one here? Second, we've got someone in common. And I can see underneath who they are. There's actually 60 people we've got in common. So,
okay. So once they become second degree, you get to see who those people are. Yep.
Yeah, whereas third, you've got 2 jumps away. So that it'll be too many people to work out who it is.
Yep.
So I can work out who we've got in common. In this view, though, you can't see their location. So I'd have to look at his profile to work out, is he in Perth? Is he in Sydney? Is he in Singapore? Is he in China? Maybe he is. Whereas this one here, Paul, is first, which tells me we're already connected. Now, he interviewed me last night. We did a Facebook Live together last night, so that's why obviously he's looked at my profile.
Yeah.
But so that's the difference. So you can have a look for who's looking at you, and where this is useful is if you've got a potential client you want to build a relationship with, or you're meeting someone next week, you're meeting them virtually. If they've looked at your profile, it kind of shows they're interested in you. They've done their homework, or maybe they've just come across you somehow. So you might want to reach out to them. Now, this guy here, we've got people in common. he might have already sent me a connection request. Now, I'd have to look at my incoming connections to see if that's the case. But I might go to his profile, check him out, to see if there's an opportunity for me to connect to him.
Yep.
But one thing I don't tend to do, because it sounds a bit creepy, I don't hit connect from here and go, "Hi, Christian, thanks for looking at my profile. I'd like to connect to you."
Yeah.
Sounds a bit stalkerish.
Yeah.
First, I would be looking for some reason, because I don't connect to everybody that looks at me. But if he's commented on something or sent me a message, then, there's an opportunity. And you'll see, once again, the importance of the headline. So right now, all I've got to judge these people by is what they've put on their headline.
Yeah.
Now, fortunately, these three, and Paul updated his, because I've been working with him, they've all got some context. We know exactly what they do. But if it was something like director or business owner or something vague, or something in French, I think that means student at Harvard, I'm going to guess. I don't know. My French is a bit rusty. Yeah. But you can see, and these people have got no profile. Well, this one's got no profile photo.
Yeah.
These are just hidden views. So you can garner a lot about it. So you want to make sure, look, there's you, Greg, checking me out.
Hey.
Do your homework. Yeah. So I can see exactly who you are. So it's really important.
Cool.
Whereas this one here, no, there's no number next to her name. There's no first, second, or third, which tells me she's probably outside of my network. But also she's got no photo, and I don't know what she's a student of. There's no context at all, so it's just important to get it right. So that's your profile. And I mean, I could talk about your profile for ages, but, work through your profile and just build it.
That gives a good context of what people need to do there to better manage those conversations.
Yeah. And just to get started, though, like you can see now the purpose of the headline so if you're going to do one thing, have a photo. Well, actually, no, two things. This is two things, not one thing. Make sure you've got a photo, because you don't want to be this person, because essentially you're networking with a bag on your head, and you don't want that. You want people to see you. And make sure your headline says what you do, the problem you solve, the value you bring, and it uses the words that your ideal clients are using.
Yep.
Yeah. A good example here, Hannah. So head of operations at Prism Group. What does she do?
Who knows?
Don't know. I don't know what Prism Group are. I don't know who they are. I don't know the brand. I don't know. I know kind of what she does, but I don't know what they do.
Yeah.
So, you want to make sure that that's all optimized.
Yeah.
Yeah. So do you have any more questions, Greg? Because otherwise I can just keep talking.
Yeah, no, that's awesome overview of LinkedIn and maybe just some takeaways for people. Like, what's some tips just in short form, like bullet points, some things that people can do on LinkedIn to make the most out of it in 2020? Yeah.
Well, the things. Well, obviously get your profile up to date, number one. That's a whole separate thing. Now, just aside with profile building, I do have a profile blueprint where I've got all. Actually, I've got one. I've got a print copy here. I don't know why I've got one here. I never use my print copies, but here it is.
Yep.
It's got all the formulas and frameworks I recommend to people use when you're building your profile. So it's kind of like your homework. So if you would like a copy, get in touch with me and I'll send it to you. So work on your profile, but start engaging in LinkedIn, because use the home feed to find content that's going to be helpful to you, to your audience, and start building relationships, because that's probably the big one.
Yeah.
So one of the frameworks I share is for every post that you share. So if you share one post a week, you want to be engaging with at least 9 other people's piece of content. So if I was to share a post here, whatever it is, whether it's a document, image, or video, or just text, then I'd want to go and find 9 people minimum and engage with them. So
yeah.
And ideally people, I mean, if I engage with this brand, Business Station, I do some work for. So, because you don't know who's managing a brand. It's probably the marketing person, and it's probably not the decision maker. So you want to make sure that if you're going to engage with someone, they're going to see it.
Yeah.
So, for instance, if this one from Holly Ann, if she's someone I want to build a relationship with, then I should not just like it. Liking's easy, and not loving or celebrating or some of the other reactions. Actually taking the time to comment. And that can be the scary thing, because suddenly you're now putting your voice out there. But say something that's conversational. Think about what you'd say in person. If this person, you were having a chat about this topic, then what would you say? And it's not great post or well done or something a bit vague.
It has to be a question. So yeah, ask a question around that, whatever it is. So
yeah. because that's going to help someone then start, continue that conversation.
They would respond. They would then respond with an answer, and then you can ask some more questions or celebrate that. So that's for sure.
Yeah.
Good points.
And when you do share your own content, let's see what Holly Ann's done. Because I always say start with something that kind of gives an indication as to what the content's about, then unpack it, and then end with the question, so you're actually engaging people. I'll show you on mine actually what I did. No, and also now one thing that people ask me is there a magic time to post on LinkedIn? Is it like Tuesday at 5 p.m. for instance? Well, yes and no. It depends on your network. It depends on who your audience is. Are they global? Are they local? What time zone are they sitting on? Are they using LinkedIn during the day? Are they using it in the evening? Now, at the moment, because people are remote working and maybe as LinkedIn starts picking up again in terms of engagement, people are going to be using it all sorts of times a day. But it depends. Like with your industry, Greg, I mean, if you were targeting other electricians, they're going to be out on the tools all day, aren't they? They're not going to be on LinkedIn.
That's right.
They might be in between jobs maybe, but they're more likely to be sitting on their socials in the evening with a glass of beer or whatever. So it's getting that right, working out when they're on. Now, with a profile, you don't know this sort of stuff. Even Facebook profiles, you don't know. Facebook pages, you get the insights. You can see that. If you understand how to read your insights, you'll see what time of day people are on, what day of the week works for you. But just because it works today doesn't mean it's going to work tomorrow.
Yeah.
Just the way of the world. So you'll see a pattern with mine. I always start with something in capital letters. That's kind of almost titling what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it kind of grabs attention. So I've got co-working at home with your partner means fill in the blank. That's a bit of a different type of post to me. I don't normally do that, but I was just testing something. Now I did it late at night, so also testing. Didn't get a lot of comments, so wrong time of day to post this one. So I'll probably give it another crack. Now if I go down, now if you're sharing, like you'll see here, if you're sharing Facebook to LinkedIn, doesn't work. And you can see here, because the link doesn't come through, it says security check required. You don't get a preview, but I needed to share this one because it was for a Facebook Live that was done, that was relative to this group.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah, it's pain. So if you're sharing a link, you want to do it a manual way. But I test things all the time just to see if things have changed, and unfortunately, no.
Yeah.
But so you'll see, here's another one, Connectfluence, that's the kind of topic. Now, it's a word, it's not a common word, it's what I've actually made up that word. But it's giving obviously I'm talking about what it is. Connectfluence, what is it? A couple of questions, and then I've said what it is, bit of unpacking of it, a couple of links, and then some hashtags. Now, with the links, here's a bit of a tip for you. If you are going to share a link, like I've said here, head over to my YouTube channel to watch all my videos that are part of the series. If I put the link in and I post it, as I said, LinkedIn doesn't like links, external links, and you tend not to get as much visibility. So what you do is you post it without the link, and then as soon as you post, you find it again by going to activity, click the three dots, and you go to edit, and then you pop it in.
Oh, you add it in after the fact.
Yeah. And that way, LinkedIn's already indexed your post. They already know it's a native post, and now you've got the opportunity to add this link in.
Hey, that's a really good point. Cool.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Now, also, but if you're going to do that, so here's a bit of a hack. If you're going to share a link to something, usually the web link has an image. That's like if you use WordPress, it says a blog, it's hosted on WordPress. There's a feature image.
Yep.
That will show up. Now, if you share a link after you've edited it, that image won't show up. So you want to make sure if you are going to do that, you put an image. So in this case, this is actually a native video anyway, which is here. But put an image on your post or a video on your post to grab attention that explains enough about what it is, and then the link doesn't need it.
Cool.
Otherwise, you get like the example above with that link to that Facebook Live. There was no preview. There's no media, so nothing to grab attention. I mean, that's a pretty boring post. Doesn't work.
Yeah.
So a lot of my content is testing. I like to test to see what fails, what doesn't, because I'm always looking for patterns and whatever. Now, here's a tool for you, Greg, and it might be useful for some of your listeners. I know you like analytics. now, what's it called? It's called the Shield app. So Shield app pulls all your data from LinkedIn and gives you lots of information. So it's stuff that's already there. So you'll notice here on a post, this one here, it says there's a timestamp 1 day ago.
Yep.
But I don't know when I posted that, what time of day it was. I don't know if it was Monday. I mean, 1 day ago. Sure. Assuming it's Wednesday. What time did I post it? This one here is 1 week ago. Once again, day, time of day, don't know.
Yep.
So Shield app pulls all your post data in, and you've got the timestamp there. So you can look for patterns. It gives you feedback on what's working. So if you really want to look for those patterns, it's not a very expensive app. I can't remember the fee. I don't know. I think I got an annual license for it, but it's not overly expensive.
Yep.
So if you're into your metrics and data, then that'll be the tool for you.
Yeah, awesome. Shield app.
Yeah.
Go check it out.
Yeah. Yes. So if you're looking at my post here and you're going to go, well, she hasn't got many views on her stuff. Like I said, the engagement and views are down at the moment. Yep. And my profile views are down. So this is reflective of that. It's just where we're at right now.
Yeah, for sure. No, it is a tough time.
Yeah. But I think, like I said, it'll change. So if you're feeling like you're talking to nobody, you might have picked the wrong time. But also it might just be either the content didn't work, didn't land well, or maybe LinkedIn's just having a bit of a moment. That's
exactly why we need to get in and set it all up now. So by the time it starts to kick off, then everything's ready and you're ready to make the most out of this once work starts picking up, because work will start picking up again. I know we're going through a very tough, uncertain time at the moment. So make sure that you get all of this set up and you are optimizing it now so that when you go to post and you continue to post, even if it's less frequent at the moment because there's less engagement, then that's totally going to be worth it when you've got that content and you've built that trust with LinkedIn, and you'll get your reach later. So
yeah, absolutely. Now, one thing I haven't mentioned a bit more about is hashtags. So you'll see all my posts have 3 hashtags, or maybe extras if it's relevant.
Yep.
Generally they're down the bottom. Occasionally I put them in the text if it's relevant to the content. So you want to make your content scannable. So question at the beginning, like I said, if you've got some tips, like this is just really why do you pay me as a speaker? I posted this before, and the first time I did it a couple of weeks ago with a different image, I got a lot of comments on it. Because I was talking about something that was really hot.
Yeah.
Because I'm asking people, when do you work for free? What's your criteria? And particularly right now, these criteria are out the window right now, because a lot of the work we're doing to help people who are in a really tough time. So I'm doing a lot of conference speaking and virtual events that I wouldn't normally be doing, but I'm doing it because it's just how we are.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, with hashtags index your content. So LinkedIn recommend 3. Don't go and put like 20 or whatever like you would on Instagram. You want to pick one that's fairly broad. So in this case, we've got broad one is conferences. One that's a little bit more specific. So professional speaker, and then one that's a bit more unique to you. Now I haven't in this one. So I've broken my rule and I've got 4 here. Actually, I've got 5 in total. So LinkedIn's very broad, keynote speaker broad, conference broad, because I wanted to hit more sort of a wider audience. But let me actually find one that I'm doing what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But the third option then, so a broad one, a really general one, a specific one, and then a unique one to you. Because you want to be able to find your content easily and get people can follow hashtags. So I'll just see if I've done it on this one. So Connectfluence, that's what I call a unique one. And if you click on it, there's probably about 3 followers, and I'd be one of them, because it's not a word people know yet. But the reason I've got that, and I'll show you, is that anytime anybody's using that word, or I'm using that term in my post, I can find it again. So it's kind of a way to categorize your own content. So, Greg, if you were talking about, had posts about electrical stuff, you might have posts about business building, because you've got that sort of side of business, and something else, another topic, maybe Greg's tech, I was going to say tech tips, but Greg's electrical tips, or I don't know.
Yeah.
Get Zapped, or, maybe it's an overview newsletter. You want to have this thing called Get Zapped, and that's got all your tips.
Yeah.
It just means you can find them all really easily, and other people can follow them. So actually, I'm not even following my own hashtag. There you go. I better do that. It's one
so
I wanted to
now
start
you got 4.
No, I've got one because I didn't have any because like no one knows about it because it's fairly new.
Yeah.
But it means that anytime I use the hashtag, which is not much because it's fairly, like I said, new, there's that one, I can find my stuff.
Yeah.
So the more specific and unique you can be, the better, because it means I can then find all my posts when I'm talking about Connectfluence.
Sure. Yep.
Whereas if this one's another example where a unique one comes in. This is a conference name. So if I click on uppercase 2020, I should be able to find everybody else's content who's using the hashtag. So anytime that the network are using it, let's hope there's more people than me using this hashtag. There we go. So this person's talking about it. So other speakers are going to talk about it. People who are attending might use it. So it's just a way to kind of find content.
Yeah, totally. Any final messages about the COVID-19 coronavirus period that you want to send out there? And well wishes, and just to show people that they're not alone through this period.
Well, it's just really about staying safe and sane, really, keeping your, because I think we can go into panic mode, particularly if you're on Facebook or Twitter and you're following the updates. I find Twitter a little bit more sensible in general, which is interesting at this time. But Facebook, I mean, if you get listened to that and the media, you can get really anxious about it and worked up and thinking everything's doom and gloom.
Yeah.
But it's not. It's about stepping back and focusing on what you can control and what you can influence. And you can control your LinkedIn presence. You can control what you put out in your social media. You can control your content, and you can influence how people engage with you. So if you're being of service, and I've got a pretty positive mindset, and I think you're pretty similar, Greg. I always look at what's the opportunity in this situation, and same here. What's the opportunity? I don't mean being an opportunist looking for how you can sell more of your stuff, but what's the opportunity to do something? So like if you've got downtime, build your profile, create some content. I've got a list a mile long of things I'm going to do.
Yeah.
I'm not going to sit around watching Netflix. Do that anytime.
Yeah.
But yeah, so just keep sane and safe. And I think it's all going to get good anyway. It's all going to come back around.
It will. It will come back around.
Particularly if we follow the guidelines. I mean, I know there's lots of mixed messages now, but if you do the right thing, keep your distance, let's stay connected online, and keep building your brand and staying connected, then you'll stay relevant as it comes out and the other end. I mean, and if you are in a business that's gone the other pear-shaped and you've had to let staff go, or you've been let go, or your business is closed, look at what can you do? How can you innovate? How can you adapt? Yeah.
You'll come back around. It'll be all right. Cool.
Yes. It will be good. It'll be good. But it is a pretty weird and scary time we're living in. I still feel like it's some alternate reality and someone's playing a joke on us.
Yeah. It does feel like, is this really happening right now? Yeah.
Yeah, particularly where we're at, like with everything, it's crazy. But yeah.
Cool. Thank you so much, Jo. I really appreciate your time. And
no problems at all.
I'll see you next time. Thanks so much.
No problems. See you soon.